Oh, Bryce is nicest, man. With your host, not co-host. See, I gotta get in rhythm. With your host, not co-host. With your host, Bryce Warner. See, I gotta get in rhythm, but it's cool. But yeah, this is the first episode of my solo podcast, Bryce is Nicest, where we talk about what's nice according to Bryce and what a basketball, man. I know it's been a while since y'all see me on y'all screens, but I'm excited to be back talking the game of basketball, the game that I enjoy, the game that I love so dearly. So yeah. But this new show, we about to get into a couple of topics as you see from the title of the program. We got some freshman performances to talk about. We got some NBA All-Star reserve selections to make. And yeah, but first things first, I do want to shout out a couple people. Shout out to Most Publicity Media, first and foremost, for producing the show. As always, y'all make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on the channel. Make sure to like this video. Um, yeah, just keep it tapped in here on Most Publicity Media Network. Shout out to my guys on the network as well. They do great work as well. And yeah, another shout out. Probably the nicest thing I've seen over the past weekend. Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose getting his flower. The rose from concrete, as the one Adidas commercial stated, for his campaign for the return, I believe. Um, just a legendary career from him, and legendary to see that his jersey's up there in the rafters with Scottie Pippen, with Jay Sloan, with Michael Jordan. I feel like there's one other person that I'm missing. Um, but yeah, him being the latest installment, the latest jersey to be retired in the United Center means a lot to me. I'm not even a Bulls fan, but just someone that from my era that was um, heavily respected, youngest MVP of his in NBA history for one, and just a hell of a player that went out there and give it his all night in and night out. Chicago kid, very great to see that he was able to put on for his city. Like that's their Rose story is one of the better sports stories out there in general. So shouts out to Derrick Rose. He's forever immortalized in not only NBA history but Chicago Bulls history, man. And glad that he was able to receive his flowers while he could still spell them. And that was a great theme for the current landscape of things. I remember I saw another video talking about Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. Um, him receiving his flowers while he could still smell them, and just being able to give people those flowers. So yeah, more flowers to give. Shout out to Rick Pitino, 900 wins, and in a fashion that he got his 900 wins too. He got his 900th career win as a coach against his son Richard Pitino in a Big East battle between St. John's and Xavier on Saturday. It was a tough game. They came back and won that game in the second half, and really it was one of the better games to watch on that Saturday. Saturday is a college hoops day for sure, but yeah, definitely great to see that Rick Pitino being the coach that he is, and the ups and downs of his career. I had the pleasure of seeing Rick Pitino coach Louisville the year that they won the ACAA tournament. They beat College Charleston by a wide margin in that game, I believe. Led wire to wire, full court press the whole game. One of the better coaches of this time, for sure. He's up there with the greats. And now the record shows 900 wins. Not many coaches out there with 900 wins. Um, Hopefully he can get the 1K, but no knowing of how much longer he's planning on coaching. But it seems like he's not slowing down anytime soon. So shout out to Rick Pitino on 900 career wins and in the fashion that he did so. And I've enjoyed watching St. John's reemergence over the past couple years since he's been there. Um, them getting to the tournament last year, not having the tournament run I thought they would have had last year, losing to Coach Cal in what was that? I want to say around the 32 or Sweet 16. But yeah, shout out to Rick Pitino, 900 wins, and shout out to St. John's as they're starting to turn things around at this point in the season as well. Staying on the topic of college hoops, South Carolina had I don't want to say topsy-turvy, but they had an interesting 2 games. They lost against Oklahoma last week Thursday, and then bounced back Sunday against Vanderbilt. Don Staley, they don't really lose back-to-back games. I think the last time they lost back-to-back games was the 2018-2019 season. They were saying. The game against Oklahoma was very interesting, and very interesting for many reasons. And seeing how that game played out, I knew going back home and playing against Vanderbilt didn't stand a chance, being that their backs were against the wall and they were looking for a win. So definitely shout out to South Carolina, but also shout out to the whole women's basketball field, as this has been one of the more interesting seasons, and things are starting to heat up as conference play continues and as we get closer to March. So yeah, sticking on the topic of NCAA hoops, the freshmen, more so talking about on the men's side. Freshmen balled out Saturday. We had, let's see, one, one, two, three, had 3 guys get 40. And had 2 of those guys, 3 freshmen get 40, 2 freshmen with 30, right? Asia Labanza, who is likely regarded as the number 1 pick in the 2026 NBA draft, balled out against Utah with a 43-point game. And then he had a pretty solid game against Arizona on Monday too. They ended up losing that game, but the performance he had on Saturday was ridiculous. All right. And playing Big 12 competition and bringing BYU. I mean, I don't want to say who would have thought. I mean, we all know this guy coming out of high school is one of the top players in his class. And just this class in general, man, this was the class that Cooper Flagg would have been in. All right. I had a pleasure of seeing some of these guys play in high school at the Slam Summer Classic, and that was one of the biggest Slam Summer Classics that they had because of the depth that was in this class. So yeah, shout out to Adrian Labanza, 43 points against BYU. No, not against BYU, against Utah. And then he had a pretty solid performance against Arizona. I don't want to say controversial, but that game came down to the wire. He was kind of leading the charge in the comeback. Ultimately came up short, mainly because, well, I don't want to blame it all on one person, but it was a situation where everybody knew the ball was probably going to go to him. So they kind of played it as such. And that's one of those moments where you got to give AJ the ball. He got to rock out. He has to win you that game. So looking forward to seeing how the rest of the season plays out for him, especially with the tournament coming up, and especially with this next matchup that they have. You got BYU against Kansas. You got 2 of the top 3 prospects in the 2026 NBA draft class up against each other. For how long, I don't know, because, Darren Peterson is on a minutes restriction or hasn't been playing many minutes due to injuries throughout the season. But I am definitely looking forward to seeing that matchup this upcoming weekend. Speaking of other fantastic freshmen, we got Kingston Flemings. He dropped 42 against Texas Tech. Keaton Wagler, who had the most points that day, had 46 points, 9 threes against Purdue. Darius Acuff, 31 points against LSU. And Cam Boozer with a 32-point, 9 rebound, and 4 assist game against Wake Forest. And those are just those are just 5 guys. I haven't really talked about Darren Peterson's play this season. I haven't even talked about Caleb Wilson's play this season. And those are 2 other guys. And that's the top of the draft class. This draft class is one of the ones people are. I know we like to throw around the word generational, but this class has that generational potential, man. I feel like the last two classes, this class and last class, has just been up there. Who's the number one pick this year? My boy Hoodie Q-Tip is in the comments. Shout out to my guy Reek. Y'all go tap in with him and his content. I would say at the moment, it's looking like AJ DeMansa. I feel like that's been I don't say consensus pick, but he's been leading the charge since the beginning of the season. I like his skill set, his motor. He is a great wing player that can facilitate the offense. Playmaking is great. He's got on both sides of the ball, and his potential is out there, man. Sky's the limit for that kid. I mean, the sky's the limit for a lot of these guys at the top of the draft. I feel like Cam Boozer's another guy that could potentially go one. Darren Peterson's another guy that can go one. Those are the top three, and then I would say Caleb Wilson. But if I had the number one pick, which I'm thinking, hopefully my team gets the number one pick, my Brooklyn Nets. But if we get the number one pick, I would love for us to get AJ DeMansa to put along Jaeger Dimon, who, hey, my boy is a rising star. All right, that give us the BYU connection that we never had in Brooklyn. But yeah, I'm taking AJ if I'm a GM, and I think that's good. I don't want to say safe, but I would keep my job if I make that pick. Think of what else? Really, what else I'm looking forward to in this matchup is seeing how they play against each other. Yes, they are pro ready. This class is definitely pro ready 3. Oh man, AJ's pro ready for sure. Cam pro ready for sure. Darren's pro ready for sure. Caleb Wilson. All right. Put this on record. This is the most that I've bigged up North Carolina Tar Heel while they're still there. Everybody else that I've bigged up, I'm a Duke guy, for those that don't know. So it's a lot of hate towards North Carolina. But for me to have so much praise that I have for Caleb Wilson says a lot. He has been their best prospect in a long time. I can't even put my finger on who, or because that is a big I don't want to have like a big standard or put like a big comparison on him because the season still has to play out, But in terms of conversations, it's looking like in my recent memory, I'm trying to think of guys who were that guy at UNC. So you got like a Caleb Love who was that guy at UNC before he went to Arizona. Bryce Johnson, who was that guy at UNC. Or you got Harrison Barnes, who was that guy at UNC. Caleb Wilson, at the end of the season, could put himself in a category with those guys. That's all I got to say on that. And that's another freshman match that I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the Duke and North Carolina matchups for this season because of who's on each team. It's been a while since both teams have had freshman talent as high as they've had at the same time. I would feel like the last time we've had a freshman versus freshman matchup or just talent-wise matchup has probably been since the Bryce Johnson, Marcus Page era, or probably since the Austin Rivers era, where North Carolina had a squad as well. Or I don't know, maybe I got to do a little more research. I can't remember off the top because there's been so many of them. But this is one year where North Carolina's kind of solid. Duke is top of the rankings as always. I don't say as always, but they're top of the rankings once again. Shout out to John Shire and the job that he's doing there. I've seen a lot of talking about how this Duke team has been a little under the radar this season, mainly because I'll say with John Shire and the Shire era, he has good regular season teams, but I think we've gotten to a point to where, all right, you guys are dominant in the regular season. You guys are dominant for 30 games. What are y'all gonna do in March? Are we gonna get all the way up to the Sweet 16, Lead 8, and lose again? Final Four and lose again? When are we gonna get a chip? It has been 11 years since Duke has won the championship. 11. A decade did some change. It's been 11 years since Duke has won the championship. We get all these recruits every year. The team is great once again this year. Dominant on both sides of the ball again this year. Translated into some hardware, Mr. Shire. Now, I don't want to say like he can't do that, but he needs to do it. So yeah. Shout out Duke, shout out North Carolina. I'm looking forward to that game. It's conference schedule, conference play is the best time to watch college basketball. I hate to sound like a casual in that front, but nobody really wants to sit around and watch blowouts of teams playing their Division 2 school, a Division 2 school that's in their state, or playing a mid-major school unless they're one of the top mid-majors that can give a top 25 team a run for their money. Some of these Thanksgiving tournaments and Christmas tournaments are cool and good once you have certain teams playing against each other. I like coaches that give their players tough non-con schedules and actually test their players. Unlike at LSU, yeah, I'm throwing shots. I don't care. LSU plays nobody. I'm talking about Kimoki. They play nobody, and they get surprised whenever they lose in conference play. I don't like that. Play somebody in non-con. Challenge yourself in non-con. We got to stop this. We got to stop these cakewalks in non-con. Give us good games throughout the season. Battle test your team early so they aren't battle tested so much at this point of the season. They should be getting the groove at this point of the season. It is late January, almost February. We got March. By February, they should be in the groove. They should be well established. All right. That's on both sides, men's and women. March is when you should be peaking. Anyone that knows ball knows that. I don't want to see you drop 40 on Cleveland State South. No. Do that against your conference. That's when the real teams are made. That's when the real contenders are made. In late January, early February, in conference play. Take care of your conference. Win the conference tournament. Or do well in the conference tournament. And then you could be considered serious in March. Because we see teams every year not play anybody or not test themselves and then crumble when it's March. And frankly, if you pay attention to the sport, you won't be surprised seeing some teams melt down the way they melt down in March. So, more on March later because it's January 28th. So, we'll worry about March when we get to March. But the lead up to March is something to watch. So, if I'm you and I want to watch some good basketball, I'm saying this is the time to watch college basketball. This is the time to watch basketball in general. All right, football is over for the most part. Got the Super Bowl in a couple weeks. Football is over. This is the time to be watching basketball. This is the time to be watching basketball. All-Star break. All-Star break should be good. And I'm about to transition to All-Star in a second. All-Star break should be good. Games leading up to All-Star break should be decent. I feel like the games tonight got a good slate tonight. Any given night, just good games. Like last night. Oh my lord. Wasn't really a good game in sense of competition. But man, it was good to see Paul George put on the master class he put on last night. All right. It's things like that you can go any given night. The Clippers are finally clicking. I finally have nice things to say about the Clippers. If you know me and you watch me on Hitting in the Head, man, you know I always had something mean to say about the Clippers. I finally have nice things to say about the Clippers. Now, I don't like how they did Chris Paul. I don't. Because you don't do that to your vets. You don't do that to the guys that helped build the franchise to what it is today. That man Chris Paul's a staple to the franchise. And you send him home? That's crazy. Send him home. On a random Monday, I believe. That rubbed me the wrong way. I'm not even a Clippers fan. But they have been better since then. James Harden has been a good leader. Kawhi Leonard has been playing well. Team players around him have been playing well. They've been playing with some urgency. They're playing like they want to be serious. So, yeah. What else is there? So yeah, no, shout out to Paul George. Shout out to the not Pacers. Whoa. Said 76ers on the win they had last night. Now the Bucks were without Giannis, and we all know what's going on with Giannis. And as trade deadline season is coming up, the trade deadline is February 6th, I believe. And everybody is waiting on what Giannis is gonna do, right? But I mean, all right, let me bring that back. The 76ers last night looked very impressive. All right. They had Embiid had 30. Paul George had 30. Maxey had 20 plus. McCain had 20. VJ's come on said had 17. That's scary. For all of them to be healthy at the same time playing the way they played. Man, I had a pleasure of seeing Paul George play on this Philadelphia 76ers team when I was in New York for Thanksgiving. He torched us. First half, he didn't miss. Or it felt like he didn't miss. Man, that man, Paul George, still got it. They trying to call Paul George Wash. No, I refuse. I refuse to let y'all throw that on his name. Seeing what I saw last night? Seeing what I saw in Barclays a couple months ago? No. It's still in there. No. It's more polished now, bro. Like, when Paul George really gets to it, he gets to it. All right. If I had a crown a Bryce's Nicest for this week or just an award. So I'm probably going to create like a player of the week with this show. As of now, the whole week, Wednesday. I mean, we had some crazy performances. I think Luke dropped 40. Donovan Mitchell dropped 40 earlier this week. They're playing now, Cavs and the Lakers. But seeing Paul George have the performance that he had last night meant something to me. Watching it in real time, thinking about it, because they really count Paul George out. Like, they really, y'all in the chat, y'all remember how Paul George's song went from Didn't You Know to Outstanding. He went from the face of being smooth to the face of being washed in a season. So when I see him drop an ethical 30 ball, it means something to me. I remember seeing him do his thing in Indiana. That's my era. All right? I ain't unk yet, but that's my era. My era's still doing their thing in the league. So, shout out to Paul George in the game that he had. Shout out to the Sixers in the game that they had. I know it's one game against a depleted Bucks team, but hey, if they're able to be healthy and perform like that, not saying that they're a contender, but they can make some things shake in the East. Which, I mean, the Eastern Conference is kind of in a weird space at the moment. The Knicks went through a little bit of struggles. You got the Pistons who've emerged as contenders. I would say coming out of the East, they're number one in the East. Last I checked, other teams still kind of finding their footing, but it's a very interesting time. At the same time, you got the Wild Wild West, got the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are very good. You have the San Antonio Spurs, who are giving the Thunder a run for their money. You have the Houston Rockets, who are young, led by the vet Kevin Durant, and they're equally as dangerous. You got the Lakers. Maybe they can make a couple moves at the deadline, which they are always known for doing. Just a matter of having him work out. Luka Doncic is leading the league in scoring. He's getting dangerous by the game. It feels like Luka's one of them ones, man. And we're just at the midway point of the season, so competition is definitely gonna ramp up as we get towards. I would say more so after the All Star break. I think All Star break kind of dwindling down a little bit. I feel like this will be a weird time. You see a lot of blowouts. Seen a lot of blowouts over the past couple of weeks. There's been a lot of controversy, a lot of talk about how there's blowouts, and it's like, all right, we can't even find the game. I don't even think the game is that hard to find these days. It's just people not wanting to adjust to change. But to talk about a couple changes, we have the NBA All Star Weekend on NBC this season, as opposed to being on TNT as previous seasons. With the switch in the broadcast, you got Rising Stars Friday night. Shout out to Jaeger Yeoman again. Yes, it's pronounced Yeoman. That's how the pronouncers. I mean, not the That's how the announcers pronounce it on the Yes Network, and I trust them. Um, so shout out to Jaeger, our rookie, our Rising Star. Um, Shout out to all the Rising Stars. I'm excited for the Rising Star game, and I don't know, I'm just a hoop head, so I'm obviously excited for All Star Weekend. Rising Star Challenge. Then you got the Saturday night with Slam Dunk Contest, 3-point contest, Skills Challenge. Um, I'll provide my dream field for those. Um, and then you got the game on Sunday. Well, Sunday evening. I don't even say Sunday night. It's at 5 o'clock, which would be 2 o'clock because it's in LA this year because of the Winter Olympics. So the starters were announced last week. You have first time starters in Kate Cunningham, Tyrese Maxey for the East. Then you have Giannis, Jalen Brunson, and Jalen Brown rounding out the starters for the Eastern Conference. Western Conference, you have Shea Gilgeous Alexander, Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, Steph Curry, and first time starter Victor Wembanyama. All right. Now, this year's All Star format is different. While I had a lot of pushback, a lot of people had a lot of pushback on this All Star format. I have grown to like this All Star format because I am seeing it for what it's worth and not seeing it for what it needs to be. That's how I had to get out of that mind frame, that mindset. Embrace the change rather than be mad at the change. Um, the game is getting more global, and I don't know. I felt like part of it was when it first was announced. I felt like Adam Silver was doing too much to increase the globalization of the game, and I thought, hey, if the top 24 players, they're going to be the top 24 players regardless of where they come from, you know. So why are we holding spots open to meet a quota? At the same time, though, it has worked out to where the top 24 players represent, you got 16 that are from the US and the other 8 that are from the world. Because arguably the top 5 players in the league are international players. Arguably. So I like the new format. I think it's fun. I think it has the potential to be fun. I think it has the potential to be competitive. Something that we've been asking for a long time out of the All Star game because of the lack of competitiveness. And I've always looked at the All Star game as like the best pickup game ever, right? You got the best players in the league, best players in the world playing against each other in a pickup game. Relaxed environment. When you play pickup, you're not playing your hardest, but you're playing to stay on the court. And this is basically what this is. You're playing to stay on the court. Your team of 8 is trying to stay on the court, but it's all right. So it's 3 teams of 8, round robin style, double elimination. Well, not double elimination. They all play each other. Then whoever got the best record out of the 2 games goes on to win go on to play against each other in the final game. So I'm looking forward to that. These are who I think are going to be the reserves for the All-Star game this year. All right. So I'll start with the East. And I have a couple this isn't a concrete list, all right. I have a couple that I can make cases for, a couple that there's cases for. So I'll go Jalen Duren, right? I feel like that's a lock. As you see from the thumbnail on this video, he's on there. Jalen Johnson from the Atlanta Hawks, who's had a superb season and deservingly of an all-star spot. Michael Porter Jr., biased pick here, but at the same time, have y'all seen Michael Porter Jr. play basketball this season? He looked like one of the best forwards in the East. Now, the record does not help his case at all, but dang it, that boy could ball, and I would love to see him in an all-star environment. So, there's that. And he's averaging like what, 26? Let's see. Let's use our resources. Michael Porter. He's averaging 25.2 points a game, 7.2 rebounds, 3.2 assists. I feel like that might be a career high because you know that boy don't not pass the ball. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Assists. Yes, he is averaging a career high in assists at 3.2. Mike can swing of the right this year. So shout out to Michael Porter Jr. I think he has a deserving case for being on the All-Star squad, but I'm not too mad if he's not selected. Donovan Mitchell, I feel, is a lot. He's talking about playing for the world team though, because he wants to play for his Panamanian heritage, if I'm not mistaken. Which I don't know. I feel like Donovan Mitchell's been on the Team USA before, but yeah. Next is Paolo Banchero, which we all remember when he played for USA. The one of the leaders in Italy were mad that he wasn't playing for Italy. The kid is from Seattle, man. He's not from Italy, even though he is Italian. But we're not doing the technical or the technicalities here on that. So, but the Magic have been good again this season. He's been good again this season. He's been healthy this season, and I would not be surprised if he's selected to be an All-Star reserve. Next I have Scotty Barnes. The Raptors are, last time I checked, third in the East. Let's see. So I base this off of performance, obviously, and team record, because I feel like they're fourth in the East. All right. Based on team record, because I feel like you got to reward winning, right? You can't be an all-star player on a scrub team. So, what's up, Dre? Outside of that, though, last person I got is Norman Powell. Norman Powell is averaging a career high, I believe, in points for the Miami Heat. Let's check that. Let's check. Norman Powell. So yeah, I haven't named anybody else on these East All-Stars that would fit the world criteria. These are all US players. Except for if Donovan Mitchell wants to represent Panama, which I don't know. I know that in a technical sense that if there isn't enough representation or if there aren't enough to meet that 8-player quota for the world team, that they will add somebody, or they will switch around and maneuver and make sure there's 8 world players. So yeah. Going over to the West, we have who I think are locks: Kevin Durant and Edwards. Don't really need to explain too much on them. 2 of the best guys in that conference. Kevin Durant in year 18 at this point. Still balling, still hooping, still a KD. All right, without a doubt. Arguably the best we've seen come back from an ACL injury that we've seen, or no, Achilles injury. I'm sorry, that we've seen. And Edwards has been great, one of the best players of this generation. Then you got Devin Booker, who is hooping, but he's been on and off the court with his injuries, dealing with injuries this season. But I feel like he is deserving of a spot. The Phoenix Suns have looked good over the past couple of weeks, past month or so. Between him and Dylan Brooks has stepped up a lot. I don't think not enough for him to be an all-star, but it's noticeable. All right. Book is rocking out. And this is I like to see Devin Booker in this kind of situation. I didn't like the pairing of Devin Booker and Kevin Durant because that was Devin Booker's team beforehand. And I was very vocal about that on Hoodie and Headband. I remember it was a clip or a video or something, me going off about that. But seeing Devin Booker return to the D Book that I know, that's been good. All right, first world player that I have, Prince Sengun was an all-star last year. I think he should be an all-star again this year. The Rockets are a pretty good team, and he's been a reason why they've been a good team. So shout out to Prince Sengun, one of the better bigs in the league. Another big that has emerged this season. He was always nice in my opinion. All right, since he was in Washington. But my guy Denny Avdia, he has a case. He has a case to be an all-star this year, man. I would not be surprised if he is selected as an all-star this season. So shout out to Denny Avdia. Been putting on for the Portland Trailblazers this year, and really emerging as one of the better bigs in the league as well. Then you got the King, LeBron James, making yet again another all-star appearance. He was not voted as a starter for the first time. And I want to say 21 seasons, 20 seasons? That's a long streak. All right. He got replaced by his boy Luka, which I mean, that's a passing of the torch moment there. I think it's kind of right, but we don't know. I don't think this is LeBron's last season. They're kind of trying to frame it as LeBron's last season, or is this LeBron's last time in Cleveland? I was watching the game before I started the show tonight. It just was. I understand. I know he missed a good part of the season due to sciatica, but see, Braun is still Braun. I feel like we would be remiss if like LeBron would have to have a serious injury to miss the All-Star game. He's not bad. It's not like he's fallen off. He's still LeBron. So Bron in the All-Star game, I feel like that is a given. All right. And then last but not least, we have Jamal Murray, possibly making his first All-Star appearance. Jamal Murray's been great again this season for the Nuggets. The Nuggets are a good team. They have remained a great team. I mean, that's just one of the better organizations in the league at this point. I'm not afraid to say it. I know I've hated on that franchise for a little minute now, but after a while, you just gotta accept it, bro. I don't want to say it like that, but I mean, they play good basketball out there in Denver between Jokic, Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, and they just keep finding ways to be good. So shout out to the Nuggets, shout out to Jamal Murray. I feel like this could be his year, especially with this new format. So yeah, those are my picks for All-Star reserves. As far as other things that I'm thinking about, do the Clippers get an All-Star? Do they give it to James Harden or did they give it to Kawhi Leonard? Who knows? These are just my selections, but see, ultimate selections come down to the coaches and the media. We must remember, all right. I am a media guy, but I'm not a media member with a vote yet. All right, y'all keep supporting, we'll get there. But my thing is, do the Clippers get one? This cat get selected. Cat with this new format, he could. I don't even want to say it like that with this new format, but I mean, this has been up and down. Year 4, Karl Anthony Towns. He is a representative of the Dominican Republic, even though he's from Jersey. But I could easily, I don't say easily, I wouldn't be surprised to see him be an all-star. Does Boston get 2? Boston's up there. You got Jaylen Brown, who's an all-star. I think, I'm not even quite sure. I would think Derek White will be their second all-star if they were to get one. But see, that's a question mark. Like, do they get 2? And then my last question is, does this new format open an opportunity for more snubs, or do they get it right with this new format? Only time will tell. Only time will tell. So I think Sunday, I believe February 1st, is whenever we get the All-Star reserves. They get announced live on NBC. This is not promo. But yeah, Ride the Stars. Shout out to my boy Jaeger Yeoman. Shouts out to VJ Edgecombe. Shouts out to Coop and Con Knipple. Shout out to, let's see. I'm trying to think who else is on the Rising Stars. Oh, all right. So Team Mello is comprised of Cooper Flagg, Reed Shepard, Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper, Jeremiah No Fears, Donovan Clingan, and Colin Murray Boyles. Right? They're coached by Carmelo Anthony. They got Team T-Mac, coached by Tracy McGrady, of course. Con Knipple, Khalil Ware. Shout out Khalil Ware. Tough. Center out there in Miami. Well deserving. Well deserving. Trey Johnson, Alex Sarr, AJ Mitchell, Jalen Tyson, well deserving. He's been a dog. He emerged this season. And then you got Cam Spencer. And then you got the team I'm pulling for, obviously. Team Vince with VJ Edgecombe, Derek Queen. You got Kaishawn George, Matas Buzelis, Jaeger Yeoman, Cedric Howard, and Jalen Wells, coached by the legendary Vince Carter. And then Team G League, coached by Austin Rivers, is Sonny's second, Ron Harper Jr. So Dylan Harper's playing against his son. Not son, playing against his brother. David Jones Garcia. He was a stud back in summer league. I remember. Yannick Conan Niederhauser. Lord, here I go. Episode 1 mispronouncing names. I couldn't go one episode. I hope I said that right. Elijah Martin, Tristan Newton, and Yang Hansen. I remember Yang. That was the Trailblazers pick from the season. Coached by Austin Rivers. All 4 of the coaches are part of the NBC media team who's been killing it this year. Shout out to Maria Taylor as well. And yeah, all right. Other things that I want to see this All-Star weekend. It was announced the celebrity teams were announced or celebrity participants were announced. So I'm definitely looking forward to that because Shams is playing. Which is interesting. You got a media member playing in the All-Star game again. I think the last time we had a media member was it Mark Jones? No. It wasn't Mark Jones. That's bad. I'm confused. I don't know why I'm confusing or mixing them up. Stan Barrett, I feel like. It was in New Orleans. The last time ESPN had a media member playing the celebrity game. If I'm not mistaken. But everybody knows Shams breaking the news. Hopefully, no, because all trade deadline would be passed by the time that happens. So he'll have a night off. He has a night off to relax and chill. So he's gonna get some buckets, and I'm looking forward to that because it's crazy to see how some of these. Well, Sean's never been a guy to have a crazy mouthpiece about certain players. He just reports on the news. I think Chris Haynes is playing, or no. I saw a tweet saying that we want Chris Haynes to play if Sean is playing, so that'd be cool too. But it's cool to see journalists, media members, um, involved and engaged in this atmosphere, seeing if they got game to be talking about the game. It's been always one of the things I've always wanted to see. I remember Asia Wilson. Um, she had a Subway talk interview, and she said, in order to talk about sport, you have to be able to play the sport. And I stand true to that. That's why I'm in the gym every day, or every day that I can. That's why I still hoop, because I talk about the sport. So if I talk about sport, I should be able to play the sport to a good amount, to a good extent, right? Outside of that, dunk contest. My dream pool for the dunk contest. No Matt McClung, and there has been no announcements as to who's involved in the dunk contest yet. So this is who Bryce wants to see in the dunk contest this year. Now, some of these names are a stretch, I will say, but they make sense. And I really thought about who would do it, who will be brave enough to go on that stage, or who got something up their sleeve possibly, who got a bag of tricks, who got it. So I said Jaw at first, but Jaw's injured with a I think like his elbow, something like that. I know it's an arm injury. Uh, but I would love to see Anthony Edwards, especially with his Adidas campaign, and especially with the guy that he is, the charisma that he has. I would love to see his creativity, and would love to see him on that stage, because that's just a contest made for Anthony Edwards, bro. He is a very good dunker, powerful dunker, high profile, high flying dunker, right? He got the bounce. We've seen what he's done in game. I want to see how he can get in a contest setting. All right. We've seen the Adidas ads, how creative he can be, because I know he's in those meetings, coming up with that stuff, or they're building off his personality and him having one of the funnier, more organic personalities in the league. Would love to see him in this environment. Shaden Sharp, high flyer. I feel like he's been in a past dunk contest before. Same with Jalen Brown that I have on this list, was in a past dunk contest before. Um, I said Braun. I still want to see Braun in a dunk contest. Now Braun ain't got the bounce like he used to. He got the old man bounce now. All right. This is that year 23 bounce, not year 3. But it's something that tells me that before he wraps it up, he's going to do the dunk contest. He got to give us one before he retire. Like, you can't go out there. Magic Johnson put up $1 million for you to do it. Then you don't do it. You tell Sherry Miller, "I'll put my name in the dunk contest officially," and then next year not do it. And then you got the GOATs ahead of you that did it. Mike did it. Kobe did it. Now they did it early in their careers, but they did it. Now, I'm not saying that this counts towards a GOAT conversation, but it's in LA. Give the fans what they want, bro. I don't think the fans will deny you in the dunk contest in year 23. If anything, it'll bring prominence to the contest, because it's been carried on the back of a G leaguer. No offense to Matt McClung. No offense to Matt McClung. I don't want that as a shot. But we talking about the state of the dunk contest right now, and how the product has been that everybody's came to see this G leaguer year after year after year. He won it 3 times in a row. First to win 3 in a row. Nate was the first to win 3. He was the first one to win 3 times in a row. Now he's not in it. Now we gotta, where do we go from here? Right? So I said Braun. I don't think Braun would do it, but why not? Right? Then you got Stephon Castle. Stephon Castle did it last year. maybe he wants to get his bounce back and win this year. Who knows? VJ Edgecombe, kid got bounce. So I know he has some creativity up his sleeve as well. I would love to see him in this environment, see what he does, see what he can showcase. And he's already in the Rising Stars game. So I would like to see, I don't know, like these new stars, these new players, see how they emerge as stars. We've seen how Vince Carter did it. We've seen how other young stars did the dunk contest and how that kind of propelled their stardom. So I think this could be a good opportunity for VJ Edgecombe. It also can be a good opportunity for Cooper Flag, the potential rookie of the year. I feel like I was seeing Coop dunk. Coop got something up his sleeve for a dunk contest, man. Like him and Khan could connect on something. He could bring his brother out, whatever. Kyrie might come out, whoever. Something interesting, something. I know the boy's been working on something. I know he has. I know he has. All right. So I mean, I know the dunk contest is usually for guys. I would say put two vets and two young players up against each other. Or not like two vets, two young players on teams, but just like that's be the field. So 3-point contest. This is the field that I would like to see based on these guys being some of the better shooters in the league and who I think would make for a good contest. You got Steph Curry. I mean, I feel like any year Steph Curry can be a good fit for the dunk contest. You got and he's still the best shooter ever. So I don't know if he wants to partake and win another 3-point contest, but I won't be against it either, right? Then you got Michael Porter Jr. I say Michael Porter Jr. because in an interview with Syracuse Stock, he said he's the best shooter after Steph. She went through and named shooter after shooter in the league, named lots of shooters, lots of good shooters in the league. And he's like, I'm better than everybody. Steph's the only person that probably got some on me. Let's see. Let's see. I mean, hey, Mike don't swing the rock. That boy be lighting things up too. He's one of those phone booth guys for sure. He don't care who's on him. He'll pull up, act like you're not there. So, but I don't know how his shot will work in a 3-point setter though, because 3-point contest is a little fast, and he gets a lot of lift on his shots. So he would have to change. I don't know. He have to change some things around to really win the contest. But it would be an entertaining contest, nevertheless. Speaking of high volume 3-point shooters, Anthony Edwards led the league in 3-pointers last year. I think he could be in this contest as well and compete with Steph. You got Jalen Brunson, who's a shooter. You got Tyrese Maxey, Devin Booker, James Harden, Luka Doncic round out the field for that. So that was my dream field as far as the 3-point contest goes. And yeah, that is my All-Star Weekend predictions. So, yeah, that concludes the first episode of Bryce's Nicest. I really don't have any much else left to say. Rambled and talked to y'all for an hour. But be sure to stay locked in here on Multiplicity Media YouTube channel. Be sure to be on the lookout for my new blog, Bryce's Breakaway, where I'll be talking about just different things going on in hoops, providing my opinion on things. The first article or first blog post will be about bad basketball. This is something I've been working on for a couple weeks now. And yeah, just can't wait to share with y'all. Just keep pushing out this content. So yeah, be on the lookout for that live on the Multiplicity Media YouTube channel. Trying to think of what else is there, man. Thank y'all for everybody that tuned in, man. I love the output. I love the energy in the comments. I love the engagement. Definitely gonna want to tap in and interact with the audience a little more as I build this show. So be on the lookout for the ways that I do that. And last but not least, Stay safe, stay dangerous out there. Stand for something or fall for anything. I'm gonna say it again. Stand for something or fall for anything. I'm gonna let y'all. I'm gonna let that resonate. I'm gonna let that marinate for a second. But nah, mainly stay safe with what's going on. It's a lot people are battling these days between the weather, between the climate. So stay safe, stay dangerous. I'll catch y'all next week. Keep it locked in tune here on the Multiplicity Media Network channel or Multiplicity Media Group YouTube channel. Shout out to the Multiplicity Media Network. And yeah, I'll catch y'all. I'll see y'all when y'all see y'all. B-Dub is out, man.